All right, make sure my mic's not muted. Go the whole go the whole time with my mic being muted. That'd be nice. All right, I'm back. This is episode 12, Back to the Bronze Age. Once again, tonight we are going to be looking at old Power Man, Luke Cage. Better known as Luke Cage. He's had his own Netflix streaming show. Really wish they would have made a movie instead of a streaming show and really put something in it and really, put a budget behind it, cast some good actors. Wasn't a big fan of the Netflix streaming show. I know it had 2 seasons. It wasn't terrible by any stretch, but I think it could have been a lot better. I think they could have had better actors to play Luke Cage. One in particular plays on The Boys. I think he plays Mother's Milk on The Boys. I think a friend of mine, we had been talking about this previously. Nothing against Mike Coulter or anything, but I don't know. He just didn't seem like Luke Cage to me. Luke Cage is a character that I've been kind of interested in ever since I started reading comic books. I didn't know a whole lot about him. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the hopefully I've got this set up right. I'm going to get into the actual comic book. So give me a second here. I'm going to switch scenes. And we're going to look at the cover. The epic cover, Power Man 48 takes on the martial arts might of Iron Fist. Now, anybody that knows comic books around this time probably knows what this leads to. Sales at this time. This was, I think I originally posted this was 1978. This was 1977. Sometime in 1977. I'm not exactly sure the month, but I did. This was my very first Power Man that I ever bought. This issue right here, and only because I liked Iron Fist. I never bought any Iron Fist when I was younger. Iron Fist had a series between 1975 and 1977. It was Chris Claremont and John Byrne. Well, that's the creative team on the 3 books that I'm going to be looking at tonight. But I always loved the Iron Fist character, and I saw this cover. This is a Gil Kane cover. You can see the what's her name, Colleen. I think that's supposed to be Colleen Wing in the background there. So let me make sure everything is in order here. I do have an audio version that I upload to Spotify. Make sure my audio version's going, and I am going to get into it here. All right, like I said, Gil Kane cover with old Luke Cage and Iron Fist doing battle on the cover. You can see the K and the S down here, like you can see the down on the bottom left-hand corner. You can see a K and an F. That's Kane and Joe Sennett. Joe Sennett would be the inker. So I always like to look for the signatures on the cover. As we can see, Luke Cage wrongly convicted and sentenced to prison, reborn in a freak experiment. They cover a little bit of that backstory. A lot of times during the Luke Cage Power Man comic books, they do flashbacks to get everybody up to speed on exactly what happened to him, how he kind of got his abilities, and kind of the narrative of the entire comic book. So you can see Chris Claremont, John Byrne. This has Dan Green as the inker, and I believe he's going to be the inker on all 3 of these issues. Dan Green inked Byrne on some of the Iron Fist run. Like I was saying earlier, Iron Fist ran from 1975 to 1977. It was canceled. The sales, the kung fu craze was kind of dying out a little bit. I think Marvel oversaturated with the kung fu craze. You had Shang-Chi, and they had magazine, The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu magazine, and all that stuff, where they would create a bunch of new martial arts characters. White Tiger, for one. But Iron Fist originated in Marvel Premiere number 15, and that wasn't Claremont Byrne, but Claremont Byrne was the creative team on the entire 2-year run of Iron Fist. I think it was just a couple issues short of 2-year run. So that was my first time seeing John Byrne, actually, in an Iron Fist comic book. I didn't buy it off the spinner rack, but I did read as much as I could when I went to the grocery store with my mom. So I've talked before many times about that. So here we go. Fist of Iron, Heart of Stone. Our story begins in the quiet of a midsummer night in the elegant West Side Manhattan townhouse of Danny Rand. Danny Rand, of course, is Iron Fist. They had a Netflix Iron Fist as well. The first time I watched the Netflix Iron Fist, I wasn't a big fan because I wasn't crazy about the casting, but the more I watched it, the more I kind of, it started to grow on me a little bit. I still think it would have been better served. I don't know if that could carry a movie. I'm not even sure if Luke Cage could carry a movie. I think those two characters together could do a movie. They could have the Heroes for Hire thing. And that's what all of this is leading to. So, and it begins with Colleen Wing, one of Danny's closest friends, staying at the house while her own apartment is being remodeled. Probably got torn up in a fight or something. Who knows? Let me grab some coffee here before I go any further. Oh, man. Heads up, Misty Knight, because Power Man's coming at you. Another awesome intro splash page from John Byrne, Dan Green. Dan Green, Mr. Machine. They got Mr. Machine down here on the coffee maker. I guess they couldn't use Mr. Coffee. Mr. Coffee was like a big thing at this time, but that's funny, Mr. Machine. And finally, it begins with violence. Violence in a Bronze Age Marvel comic book and action? No, never. Wait a minute, you're not Misty Knight. Hey, that's for sure, Buster. And she throws like hot coffee in his face. That's awesome. Power Man, he's the hero for hire Buck, who works out of 42nd Street. I think Colleen Wing, I never knew this as a kid, but I guess she is supposedly part Asian. She's drawn kind of, I think she's supposed to be mixed. I know in the Netflix series she was, I really don't know what she was, but it never occurred to me that she was Asian when I was reading the comic books. Better make tracks. That boiling coffee isn't going to do much good against Cage's steel hard skin. Not so fast, little lady. As he tackles her. You ain't going anywhere till you answer some questions. Colleen Wing and Misty Knight form the what they called the Daughters of the Dragon. They're kind of an investigative team. I got to find this Night Woman, and I got no time to waste. So be cool, mama. You couldn't get away with that stuff today. That's how they did the kind of the black exploitation or whatever you want to call it, movies of the early 70s. That's kind of how that's kind of the dialogue. So be cool, mama, and tell me what I want to know. I don't have time to get rough. This is insane. I thought Cage was one of the good guys. Rough doesn't faze me, pal, because I'm not the one who's gonna get hurt. Hi-ya! And she kind of flips Cage off, and he's got like a shocked expression. Christmas. That's kind of Luke Cage's. Sweet Christmas is kind of Luke Cage's, kind of his calling card, so to speak. Like Ben Grimm is, it's clobbering time, and the Beast was "Oh My Stars and Garters" or whatever that means. I don't know. I never heard that before I saw that in a comic book. Oh my, never mind. Not bad. She hefted my 300 pounds like I weighed nothing. No wonder the man said I was the only one who could help him. What on earth is he talking about? I haven't read this comic book in a long, long time, so this is going to be kind of cool for me to revisit this. But I I probably read this comic book 50 times. This whole little 3-part series, at least 50 times when I was a kid. But it's been a long time since I've read this. But fancy moves or no, she's only a woman. Oh boy, you couldn't get away with that today. I'll tell you that. Make it easy for yourself, Fox. I don't want to hurt you. Just give me a lead on Misty Knight. Oh no, cancel Chris Claremont. He's misogynistic. He called a woman a fox, a stone cold fox. And what then? And then what then? You'll do to me what you did to the back door? No, thank you, Cage. You sure come a long way, baby, from a temporary membership in the Fantastic Four. Yeah, in the mid-'70s. If anyone doesn't know, I like to stop and comment on some of the stuff that goes on that I know about that happened during this time period in comic books. Ben Grimm had left the Fantastic Four for a very short period of time in the mid-'70s. And they had started a Marvel 2-in-1, which was the Marvel team-up version. They had Marvel team-up with Spider-Man, but they also had Marvel 2-in-1, which is Ben Grimm. He was a immensely popular character for Marvel in the 70s. Then later on, he's kind of overshadowed by. He did get his own solo book in the 80s, but the thing I'm talking about, Ben Grimm. But they played around with some characters that come in to try to mix things up, and Luke Cage was kind of they threw him in for I'm not sure how many issues. It wasn't more than about maybe 5 or 6 issues that he was an actual official member of the Fantastic Four. I might be covering some of those issues. Some of that's some George Perez stuff. Some good stuff. I think Lynn Wein also might have been either Jerry Conway or Lynn Wein was the writer at the time on that, if I'm not mistaken. That's right, Mama, but a man's got to do what he's got to do. I wish there was some other way. I wish I could let you go, but I can't. So come get me, hot shot. Trouble is, lady, there's more down here. I got to scroll down. Nice. She knows she's way faster than me, so she stays behind the couch. Trouble is, lady, I'm Power Man, and I don't go under or around nothing. I go through. Fella, I've just started. Can't handle this alone. It's taking all my martial arts skill to simply stay alive. Sooner or later, I'll make a mistake. Had enough, Fox? Let the misogyny roll, let me tell you. I love it. The good old days of comic books. Can't risk heading outside, though. Cage may have brought friends. What's his interest in Misty? He doesn't even know her. And Nightwing Restorations has never worked on a case that involved Power Man. The Daughters of the Dragon, Nightwing Restorations is their official label for their little business. Whatever it is, feeling it isn't legit, which means Power Man's turned bad. I guess the hero for hire racket doesn't pay enough, and crime does. Okay, I made Danny's 3rd floor study in record time, but Cage will be coming right behind me. Luckily, he has no idea which floor I'm on, which room I ducked into. He'll have to check them all out. Fortunately, when he does get here, this door isn't even going to slow him down. This bookcase, on the other hand, might. I doubt if the bookcase is going to slow Luke Cage down. If I can shove it in front of the door, no good. The bloody thing must weigh a ton. I can't even budge it. Calm yourself, Colleen. She's been training with Danny Rand a little bit. You got to remember. Calm yourself, Colleen. Remember your grandfather's teachings. Focus all your strength, and then let your power flow through you like a living thing. It isn't Danny's Iron Fist, but it'll have to do the trick. So she does the Mr. Miyagi and moves the bookcase there. Mr. Miyagi. The question is, Colleen, was it done in time? I always liked how they had that seam of Power Man's Buccaneer type boots. That was cool. This is a little embarrassing, but I actually tried to dress up as Power Man when I was a kid because He had the coolest looking cover logo of any character, I thought. On the next issue, I'll talk about the cover logo a little bit if I can remember. But I had like a swing set belt that I would loop through my jeans, and I had my mom buy me like an old yellow T-shirt, and I tried to look like Luke Cage. When we'd go out, we'd go up my backyard, a couple of my friends, we just beat up each other, acting like we were superheroes and stuff. I'm Spider-Man, I'm Captain America, I'm Power Man. Who's Power Man, huh? And then we just tackle each other and beat the crap out of each other. That's a good excuse. Call police. Call police second. It'll take too long to convince them what's going on. Besides, it'll take more than a few NYPD blue and whites to stop Cage. I need Misty and Danny. She said she was cooking them dinner at her apartment. Blast, I misdialed. Relax, woman. Cage didn't call her that. She called herself that. Hearts racing. Moving the case took more out of me than I thought, especially since my body's barely recovered from the nightmare job Misty and I took in Hong Kong. See Deadly Hands of Kung Fu 32 and 33. Come on, Misty, answer the phone. Cage has just made it to the door. Door's locked, and from the sound of it, the fox is calling for help. Hang it up, woman. Because as of right now, fun time's over. I love that panel of him breaking through. Yeah, a bookcase isn't gonna stop Luke Cage. Are you kidding me? These delusional female characters, Night Gray apartment. Who's calling? That's on the other line. Misty. Oh my God, no. What's going on with Luke Cage here? Why is he being such a woman stalker here? It says scene shift a few minutes back in time, and about 100 blocks downtown to the Greenwich Village apartment shared by Jean Grey and Misty Knight. Oh, Jean Grey. The place looks nice, Misty. You never know, the X-Men and I turned it into a war zone. Yeah, Iron Fist 15, he actually battles the X-Men, the new X-Men at this time, with Colossus and Nightcrawler and all that stuff. So Jean told me, that must have been some fight, pal. It had its moments. That's another issue I need to put on my list, Iron Fist. There's a lot of I'd like to go through the entire Iron Fist, Byrne Claremont Iron Fist run. It's really awesome. My opinion, it's some of the best comics Marvel's produced, but that's just my opinion. I'll bet, Danny, after that Bushmaster fiasco and the Hong Kong caper with Colleen, it's good to be home. It's good to have someone to come home to. Yeah, they had a relationship going on, Danny Rand and Misty Knight. I know how you feel. I missed you a lot. Don't answer it, Misty. Sorry, pal. I'm a compulsive phone answerer. Night Gray apartment. Who's calling? Is that how people answer their phones in the 70s? I don't remember. I don't know. Misty. Oh, my God. No. Misty. That's Colleen Wing saying that on the other line. Oh, my God. No. That was Colleen's voice. She was cut off, and now the line's gone dead. Come on, Danny, let's get up to your place fast. What's happening? I'm not sure. I really like how John Byrne draws Misty Knight. Awesome. Could be nothing, an accident maybe, or it could be trouble. I've got a gut feeling about this, pal, and it's bad. It is bad. It is bad. Cage, what's wrong with you, man? You gone crazy? You keep on using your muscle instead of your brains, and you ain't got a prayer. Should have figured the lady barricade the door. And if she's hurt or worse, then what do I do? I'm a puppet dancing to the boss man's tune. So we're getting a little hint what's going on there. It's got me boxed in, and the harder I try to cut myself loose, the worse everything gets. She's breathing. She's alive. Thank the Lord for small favors anyway. Meanwhile, across the street from the Rand house, we got a little stakeout thing going on. He's been in there a long time, man. What's keeping him? Be cool, bro. Going from superhero to kidnapper in one night is a heavy change for a righteous dude like Lucas. Now we're getting the first glimpse at who we're talking about here. Gotta love these costumes. Two more characters that were in the Netflix. Show. Of course, modernized, and they didn't have any kind of weapons or super abilities either. Yeah, suppose he's setting up a double cross. No way, Comanche. We've been riding shotgun on him since we flew out of Chi. I guess that's Chicago. And we cut the house phones. The lady the minute tried to make a call. And Power Man's no fool, my man. He knows what'll happen if he steps out of line. Heads up, Comanche. Of course, that's Shades. Shades and Comanche. They were kind of the two characters that were always antagonistic, always battling Luke Cage. They're kind of hired thugs, but they have some abilities. And Power Man's no fool, my man. He knows what'll happen if he steps out of line. Heads up, Comanche. Looks like we got company, and bless my soul if it ain't just the foxy lady we've been looking for. In the nice, I like Misty Knight's little bell bottoms here. 70s bell bottoms. Street's quiet. House looks normal. So why's my heart pounding fit to bust? You'd think after all these years I'd be over being scared. Inside, up on the third floor. Good thing that desk took most of the impact. If those cases had hit square, she'd have died. How'd she ever move that thing? She doesn't look that strong. She got off lucky with a broken arm. Colleen Wing, Misty Knight's partner in their detective agency. Should have recognized her, I guess, but the photo Shades gave me showed her with a different hairstyle. I think she had a longer hairstyle for most of the 70s Marvel. Rest easy, hon. I fixed it up best I could, but I'm no doctor. There's times I think I'm not much of anything. Cut it out, Lucas. You keep talking like this and you're beaten before you hold it. Noise from downstairs. So quiet I almost missed it. The click of a key turning in a lock. Somebody's coming through the front door. Hope I knew what I was doing when I dropped Danny off a couple blocks back. Too late for second thoughts now, babe. So here goes nothing. She is Miss Knight, but she ain't seeing visitors. And by the time she wakes up, you and I are going to be long gone. Power Man, you got it. And I got my orders, lady. You're coming with me either peacefully or in pieces. The choice is yours. Mister, you just made the biggest mistake of your entire misbegotten life. Because I'm going nowhere with you unless it's to the city morgue to identify your body. And she blasts him with her 44 Magnum handgun, dirty, hairy handgun cannon. That's a laugh, lady. For all the good your Colt's doing. It's a Colt 45. Okay, that's right. You might as well be throwing spitballs at the man, but I've got to keep him off balance. Ain't you heard, Mama? I'm the dude with the steel hard skin. That toy you're packing may bruise me a little, but that's about it. We'll see. 5 more shots triggered as in many seconds, each dead on target, each having no effect on Cage as he moves down the stairs towards Misty. Finally, she runs out of bullets. Okay, pal, first round to you. But this fight's got a ways to go before it's done. Big talk, little lady. You got me shaking in my boots. What are you going to do, punch me? Something like that. Got to remember, Misty Knight has a bionic implant in her right arm. Wham! Slams him right up against the wall. Another great John Byrne panel here. I'm impressed. I ain't been hit like that in quite a while. You keep up the pressure, and I guess I might be in trouble. You're in trouble now, Buck. I don't know why they keep I don't know why the females keep referring to Luke Cage as Buck. I don't know. Maybe it's a 70s thing. I don't know. For your sake, Colleen Wing had better be all right. Hey, she's fine, lady. There's a lot more I can say for you if you don't learn your place. And fast. You caught me off guard with that first shot, Misty, but you're never going to get that lucky again. Dig. Out cold. I heard on the street that Misty Knights had some sort of hyped up arm, bionic. The professor once told me. I believe the professor he's talking about is the guy who did the experiment and actually gave him his steel skin and hand strength. Dr. Noah Bernstein, I believe the name is. Don't quote me on that. He's in this little run though, so I'll remember it when I see it. Didn't figure on it being this powerful though. I know they had a version of him in the Netflix show, but it was way off from the comic book version. They made him like some kind of, I think they made him some sort of scumbag. It's been a while since I've watched that Netflix show. What was that on? Like 5 years ago or something at this point? It's been a while. Crazy. Heard on the street that Misty Knight had some sort of hyped up arm bionic. The professor once told me. The professor told me once. Didn't figure on it being this powerful, though. Guess I ought to be proud of myself. I mean, 2 women punched out in one night. What's next, kids? As we can see, something going on in the background there. Might be bad news for Mr. Luke Cage. Cool little shot of a shrouded, lurking in the shadows Iron Fist there. Yeah, it's lousy, but man, I got no choice. The name of the game is survival, and the only rule is that there ain't no rules. Mr. Cage, turn around. Huh? Oh, I remember this next page. This is John Byrne. This is a John Byrne flex right here, this next page. I think. Yeah. Oh, that is so sick. That is Iron Fist just levels him with his Iron Fist. That is a great panel. Cage just goes flying through the wall. You see the debris. Surely this fight's over, right? Another great page here from John Byrne. No dialogue on the page, just sound effects. The effect of the Manhattan street here, kind of silhouetted, and then you see Cage flying with his shirt all torn. Cage's shirt always got torn in all the comic book fights. You'd think he'd like try to hit Reed Richards up for some unstable molecule costume or something, because he was always getting ripped up, kind of like Spider-Man. And then he goes across the street and hits into a building, goes through the wall there, and here Shades and Comanche are just like, oh my God, what happened? Was that a missile? He drops Shades drops his cigarette. Oh, and what another great panel from John Byrne, just the crumbling of the townhouse or whatever that is. That's awesome. No dialogue on that page. It's over so quickly, it's almost impossible to believe what's happening, except that where a condemned brownstone stood a moment ago, there's nothing left but a pile of rubble. As far as Shades and Comanche are concerned, that's a clear sign. Floor it, bro. Let's get out of here. The boss figured Lucas could handle any opposition this side of the Fantastic Four, but he figured wrong. Neither man looks back at the car as the car guns towards Broadway. Perhaps they should have. No, Shades and Comanche, they are bugging out. They must have figured I was zapped for good. They'll call the boss, tell him what went down, and then my friends' lives, we're on the line tonight, and I blew it. it's too late for them. Too late for me. But before Luke Cage goes down, someone's going to pay. Heart of the Dragon, that's kind of Iron Fist kind of trademark saying. Misty, get out of here. I'll hold him off for all of 2 seconds, fella, before I bust you wide open. So Cage is pissed off now. He may have a point. What's the man made of anyway? I hit him with the full force of the Iron Fist, yet he's as fast and powerful as ever. He has no fighting technique, but he doesn't need any. Hitting him is like hitting a chunk of cast steel. Worse, actually. I can shatter steel. With all I'm doing with Power Man is smashing my feet. You're playing Jackrabbit ain't going to save you forever, punk. Yeah, I believe this is the first time. Yeah, this is the first time in comic books that Iron Fist has ever encountered Luke Cage. Forever will take care of itself, Mr. Cage. What worries me is the next few minutes. He says, ouch, as he kicks Luke Cage right in the jaw, swings on the door frame or whatever. No good. I'm hitting him with my best punches, and I'm not even slowing him down. Still, he's only human. He has to have a weakness, and I've got to find it before he pulverizes me. I love the way John Byrne draws Iron Fist. Perhaps where his fist won't do any good, words will. Worth a try anyway. At this point, I have nothing to lose. What's going on, Power Man? I thought you were a hero. Maybe, and maybe it was all a dream. Like the dreams I've been my own man these past years, and maybe I'm tired of playing games. They'll get into a little bit of the Luke Cage backstory. His anger, it has nothing to do with me. He needs someone to take his fury out on. And since he can't get at the person he really hates, I'm the next best thing. Lucky me. Gods. Just like I'm tired of waltzing to your kung fu tune, Iron Fist. So let's see how well you do your fancy footwork when you've got no floor to dance on. Another awesome John Byrne. I mean, John Byrne just... Byrne and Claremont's got big aspirations for these the transition, so to speak, of the Power Man book. So they're going all out on here. This is just some awesome stuff. The anatomy's a little messed up here, but you're getting the sense just how powerful Luke Cage is. He rips up the entire floor. I love this lettering here. Power Man, listen to me. Whatever's happening, is it worth throwing your life away for? I got no more life. I got no life anymore, kid. All I got is hate. Hands like vice, can't breathe. But I sense at heart, Power Man isn't killer. It's a desperate, dangerous gamble played for the ultimate stakes. And as the seconds pass, it looks like Iron Fist has lost. I can try Tiger Claw to eyes, last resort, blind him. Then if that works, if I can summon strength, pop his eardrums, killing blow, but not yet. And then when it's almost too late, Lord, what am I doing? For a while, you had me worried. Well, you don't need to worry no more. Whatever else Luke Cage is, he's no killer. Except his closest friends. What are you talking about, Cage? You're not making sense. It don't concern you, boy. The hell it doesn't. This is my house you've wrecked, my friends you've beaten and tried to kidnap. The least you can do is tell us why. Because I had no choice. If I had this whole stinking mess to do over again, I'd do it without a second thought. What's the use? You've won. The big man's won. And I've just killed two people who are the closest to me in all the world. Next, Seagate is a lonely place to die. So we'll delve into what Luke Cage is going on about, of why he's just attacked Misty Knight and Colleen Wing, and why he's so determined to kidnap Colleen Wing. So let's go to the next, see if I can bring up the next issue here. Here we go. Power Man 49, 1977 Marvel Comics. I don't care if you're stronger than me, Bushmaster. You're going to pay for his life. Once again, I think I'm looking for... I never really paid attention on who did this cover. It looks like Ron Wilson, and it's an inker I'm familiar with, but I could never pronounce the name. But that's Ron Wilson. Ron Wilson did some early Power Man. One problem with the Power Man book, why it really wasn't that appealing to me. I love the character, but they never had a consistent art team. A lot of the artwork was early Power Man artwork. Up until now was done by George Tuska, which really wasn't one of my favorites. He was he did a lot of Iron Man in the early 70s as well. I mean, he's an okay artist. Just his art just doesn't appeal to me that much. But they had old writers. They also had an artist named Billy Graham who was really good. Kind of drew a more a little more cartoonish type style, kind of big and bold, more cartoonish type looking style. It's kind of hard to describe. Some of the early writers, I know Lynn Wein wrote a few early issues, Tony Isabella. Just they never had a consistent team on the book. And the sales weren't that great of the book. That's why they're bringing these two characters together. They had already canceled the Iron Fist book months before this took place. So I'm not sure whose idea it was to, probably Archie Goodwin. He was the creator of Luke Cage. Roy Thomas created the Iron Fist character. I know that, but Roy Thomas still had some influence in the Marvel offices at this time, making a lot of the executive type decisions. He was kind of the heir apparent to Stan Lee, because Stan Lee really didn't have much to do with the day-to-day. Even in the 70s, he didn't have much to do with the day-to-day goings on with the Marvel, the Marvel comic line at the time. He had already moved out to the West Coast, and he was more interested in getting Marvel on TV. Hence the Hulk and the Spider-Man and the Captain America TV movie that they had. And they also made a Doctor Strange movie as well. A lot of people don't know that, but they did have a 2-hour made-for-TV Doctor Strange movie in 1970. It's either 78 or 79. I can't remember. You can probably look it up on YouTube. I watched it as a kid. I watched all that. Captain America had like Reb Brown, and he had a motorcycle with like a plexiglass-looking shield and everything. Reb Brown, not the greatest actor in the world, but I mean, he fit the Steve Rogers role. I mean, he's a big athletic dude, like 6'3", 6'4", muscle, really, really chiseled, but not the greatest actor in the world. But probably talk about that show a little bit when I do a Captain America issue on here. I don't care if you're stronger than me, Bushmaster. You're going to pay for his life. Iron Fist is finished, and you're next, Cage, because I got the power now. Cage returns to the prison where it all began. Seagate is a lonely place to die. Once again, Claremont, John Byrne, Dan Green. Archie Goodwin is still the editor. So this would be 1977. I mistakenly put 1978 earlier when I was referring to these issues. Let's do our little zoom in here. So now they're sitting in Danny Rand's apartment. I'm assuming it's still Danny Rand's apartment. Yep, West Side townhouse, and their things have kind of settled down here. So Seagate is a lonely place to die. His name is Luke Cage, one-time hero for hire, now called Power Man. A few minutes ago, he almost murdered the 3 people sitting around in the living room of Daniel Rand's West Side townhouse. Iron Fist, the living weapon, and his 2 closest friends, Misty Knight and Colleen Wing. Understandably, now that the battle's over, they're all wondering. We got a dog sitting up here. Why, Cage? The answer is silence. In that silence, Cage's mind drifts back. We're gonna get some. We're gonna get a kind of a rehash of what happened last issue. Gotta remember, Claremont and Byrne aren't the regular creators. They were brought on for this grand transition of what was going on. The merging of it's no mystery. The merging of these two characters eventually. So they were kind of brought on to usher that in kind of an epic way. So this is right before, this is probably maybe 6 months before Claremont might have been writing bi-monthly X-Men at this point in time. I believe he was. John Byrne had not gone on to the X-Men yet. John Byrne and Claremont were still doing Marvel Team Up at this time, and I believe this issue references some Marvel Team Up issue that had Spider-Man, Iron Fist when they fought the Steel Serpent. I remember, and I'm not sure if they referenced that in this issue or not, but that's another great couple issues that I need to cover. And we see the rehash of what happened. Here's kind of a condensed version of Iron Fist smashing Cage out through the wall. Who said, well, Cage, after what's happened, at least the least you owe us is an explanation. Coming from Iron Fist there. You said that the big man's won, that you just killed the two people you're closest to in all the world. What did you mean? What I said. I feel like I'm drowning. Iron Fist wants to help, but if I tell him the whole story, I got to tell him who I really am. And this Misty Fox is an ex-cop. See, Cage was a con. Yeah, they're going to cover. They should cover this. Most people know this. He was an ex-con that took part in a kind of a secret experiment in the prison that he was hoping to be granted parole, but if he partaked in this experiment. But there was a lot of corruption in the prison with the warden, and a lot of the guards were sadistic guards and stuff. Kind of like a Shawshank Redemption kind of thing. And then the only hope I have to save Claire and Noah. Claire was played by, I can never remember her name in the Netflix series. Rosario Dawson, but she played a nurse. In the comic book, I believe Claire Temple is a doctor. She's not a nurse, but I believe she's a doctor. And Noah Bernstein, Dr. Noah Bernstein, or Professor Noah Bernstein, I can't remember, is the one that devised the experiment that gave Luke Cage's steel skin. It just wasn't supposed to happen that way. So we'll get to that. I'll just move on. I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. More coffee, Cage? No thanks. Some of this is starting to come back to me. I got to level with him at this point. I got nothing left to lose. His voice, a low monotone. Cage begins his story as Misty slips out of the room behind him. Yeah, he doesn't trust Misty Knight at all. He doesn't like cops. And heads down the hall to a book-lined study that had once been Wendell Rand's. Wendell Rand is Danny Rand's deceased father, who is like it says right there, Rand Meacham on the computer down there. Rand Meacham, Harold Meacham is, they were the partners in the corporation together, but he was betrayed. They'll probably have a flashback. They always had flashbacks to Iron Fist stuff as well. It takes her only a moment to prime the study computer terminal and patch it to an outside line while back in the living room. I was making the rounds through Chicago, hunting up a cheap apartment when this black caddy up and cuts me off. Snappy dressing dude inside says his boss has a job only I can do and that I will be well paid for my trouble. I figured the caper to be shady, but I went along for the ride. If my hunch was wrong and the job turned out to be legit, I'd take it. I needed the bread. If it was crooked, I'd simply walk out and trash any clown fool enough to get in my way. It wasn't a long drive. We were just past Evanston when a limo pulled up in front of $1 million spread set right on Lake Michigan. Take a second break here. My voice holds out. Good evening, Mr. Cage. I am Bushmaster. I have need of your unique talents. That's so. I heard you on the street, man. You're the European brother. Been given the Magia, the MAGA council, giving the Magia so much grief, wiping them out so you can take over. You got the wrong man, Bushmaster. I'm a hero for hire, and I am most definitely a villain. Nevertheless, Cage, you will do this job for me because, as you can see, Claire Temple and Noah Stein, I'm not sure, are my guests. And if you turn me down and you see that they're all roped up there, I'll have no alternative but to order my men to kill them. The assignment is a simple one. You're to go to New York, find this woman, and bring her to me. I knew her as Maya Corday. Her true name is Misty Knight. Maya Corday. Her true name is Misty Knight. And what happens after she's here? That need not concern you. I'm a generous man with those who help me, Cage, and I'm aware that the price of a righteous man comes higher than most. So I offer you lives. I offer you more than the friends' lives. I offer you your freedom. Gadget, show the man your wares. Gadget is his little toady dude right here. The Gadget Man used to work for Willis Stryker. I see you know the name. As turning against Willis, even turning on him, Gadget secretly videotaped Stryker planting 2 kilos of uncut heroin in your apartment. This is what they got Luke Cage on. This is the charge that they ended up getting Luke Cage sent to prison. So Luke Cage was always innocent. But so now he's saying he's got proof that will actually show his innocence. This tape is proof of your innocence, Cage. It's yours in exchange for a woman you don't even know. Some exchange, a woman for a tape and a crooked drug bust for a federal kidnapping rap. Only this time I'll be guilty as hell. Can't punch my way out of this. Got to use my brain. String the man along and try to get some kind of angle. All right, Bushmaster. I'll do it. Excellent, Cage. You'll leave tonight. I'll expect you at my American base of operations with Miss Knight by dawn. And on the off chance you even remotely consider betraying our agreement, I've provided some old friends of yours to ensure that you toe the line. Been a long time, blood. Shades, Comanche. Life's been treating you real good, eh, Lucas? Bushmaster had me boxed in, and he knew it. Man, he really dug watching me squirm. The only way I could figure this caper was to go through with it and make my move when I got to his base. Play it by ear and hope for the best. Great plan, Lucas. Would have gotten me killed for sure and left Bushmaster owning you body and soul if he doesn't already. What's he got on you that you're so afraid of, Cage? This is it, man. You only told him half. The truth before. Do you level or do you lie? I'm a con. I was doing 20 years hard time for pushing skag. Skag? I guess skag is heroin. I escaped. I was framed, you see, and Bushmaster has a videotape that proves it. So he was framed for pushing skag. I've never heard heroin referred to as skag. I don't know. Score 1 for you, Cage. I punched the latent prints off your coffee mug through the NCIC, National Crime Information Center. Archie Goodwin. Oh, okay. And came up with the things you learn in comic books when you're a kid. and came up with this federal rap sheet. That was quick. If you lied to me just now, I'd have called the cops, but since you trusted us, you're going to trust me? I guess I'm flattered, but Bushmaster still holds all the cards. He knows I'm a con too. He'd turn on me just for spite. So Luke Cage is actually still wanted. He is still, they still want to bring him back to prison. He's kind of been laying low in Harlem the whole time. I wouldn't say laying low, but I don't think obviously they can't they could arrest him if he agreed to it, but they're not going to get him using force. They'd have to send some sort of supervillain or superhero after him. We don't even know where he's got Noah and Claire, assuming they're still alive. Oh, but we do know, you see, as Maya Corday, I was with him when he set up his base. Tell me, Mr. Cage, does the term little A mean anything to you? Little A as in Little Alcatraz, as in Seagate Prison. The hard cases were sent here. The lifers, the incorrigibles, the troublemakers. And Cage was the hardest case of all. A year or so after his escape, the government closed the prison and sold it for a modest profit. In no time at all, most people seem to forget that Seagate Prison had ever existed. It's Marvel's version of Alcatraz. Most people, but not Luke Cage. If he lives forever, he'll never forget Seagate or what it did to him. There it is. I've been climbing the walls the past few days while we got ready, but now, this is days later, skin's crawling, just like it did the day I arrived, the day I met Quirt and Rackham. Quirt and Rackham were the two corrupt, sadistic prison guards there that actually caused him to become Power Man. They sabotaged the experiment. Why didn't the Netflix show just go with the comic books? They did to a certain extent, but they took a lot of liberties and veered off a lot. They, at the core, they were true to it, but this, depicting him like in prison, and then all of the things that, all of the experiences and all of the encounters that led up to him becoming Luke Cage would have been much more interesting for the Netflix series, in my opinion. Like, do a true origin story, and then, in my opinion, then what they did, they just want to gloss over stuff. They're trying to reinvent. They're trying to reinvent stuff that already works. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I wasn't in stir more than an hour before they started in on me. Words first, then fist. Knowing all the time I couldn't fight back. Well, I collected those two owed me with interest, and tonight it's Bushmaster's turn. Won't be expecting trouble, Misty. Misty leaked word to the New York papers that I was killed when that brownstone fell on top of me. Last issue. Okay, folks, this is as close as the jet boat goes without waking any guards. From here on, it's your show. Good luck. And 2 minutes later, nice work. And, Danny Rand's got money. Danny Rand's, the head of that wealthy corporation now, and he inherited all of that, so he can fund all these little covert operations. 2 minutes later, nice work, Danny. Looks like you got the only guard. Blast, I'm overshooting the wall. Got to grab this stanchion. I'm not sure what that is. As I go by, use my bionic arm to stop me and hope the non-bionic rest of me can take the strain. So that's Misty Knight with him there. Are you all right, Misty? Your approach seemed a little high. It was, and I had to land the hard way, and I got the aches to prove it. Let's get moving, hot shot. So they sneak in here. They kind of stealthily take care of the other guard. I'm not sure why, but I got a bad feeling in my bones. Trust me, If Bernstein and the girl is still alive, they'll be in this section. Okay, I'll get Dr. Bernstein. You get Claire Temple, and hurry up. We're falling behind schedule. So she was undercover when the Bushmaster had bought this off of the government and planned on turning it into some kind of fortress, or which has a laboratory in it and all of that, kind of a base of operations. Danny's changed inside ever since he fought Steel Serpent. Part of him died when the Iron Fist was torn out of him. That's Marvel Team Up 63 and 64. Steel Serpent was one of his fellow students at Kunlun when he trained there, and Steel Serpent felt that he deserved the right to the power of the Iron Fist. So he had a vendetta. He always had a vendetta against Danny Rand to kind of take it from him. So they fought. He's kind of the anti-green. He's kind of the anti-Iron Fist. He's got his costume is like reverse of Iron Fist. Pretty cool character. That is Byrne and Claremont as well. Marvel Team Up 63 and 64. The power he took back, but the innocence, Doc Temple, name's Misty Knight. I've got to rescue you. I startled her. She's tensing to scream. No time to explain. I'll have to knock her out with a bionic nerve pinch. Misty, I found Bernstein's room, but he's not there. Beautiful. What do we do now? Our time's up. Cage will be making his move. Place cut to Seagate's main gate, where a bored guard making time until his shift changes is about to get the surprise of his life. And that's another cool John Byrne panel there. On your toes, turkeys, because Power Man is busting through. And I ain't stopping until I get my hands on Bushmaster. Sound the alarm. We're under attack. You got it, Yo-Yo. And you better thank your lucky stars it's your boss I'm after and not you. I'm feeling mean tonight, scum. And when Power Man feels mean, people get hurt. That crash outside and now gunshots. I think Cage has made his entrance right on cue. Any minute now, this entire rock will be crawling with Bushmaster's mercenaries. We've got Cage's girl. You want to play it safe and call it quits while we got the chance? We gave our word, Misty, that we'd help him rescue his friends and then try to find Gadget's videotapes. You get Claire to safety. I'll try to find Bernstein. Danny's nervousness must be catching. Now I'm on edge. I didn't really expect to find these two alive. It isn't like Bushmaster to leave loose ends lying around. If they're healthy, it's only because he needs them. Question is, for what? I better take the pressure off Cage so one of us can find out. Run for cover, hero. I'll keep these jokers occupied. We found your lady, friend. Little mama, that's music to my ears. She's coming too, Misty. Luke? Easy, hun. Everything's going to be just fine. Forget about me. Bushmaster's taken Noah to the solitary confinement levels, working night and day since we arrived. I was trying to tell your gun-toting idiot partner that when she knocked me out. Beautiful. Iron Fist is looking for him, Cage. Okay, Misty, I'll handle it from here. You get Claire out to the boat. Noah's working in solitary, but that's where, Lucas, you better move. Because if what Claire says means what I think it means, that Kung Fu kid is as good as dead in that very moment down in solitary. Get inside, bro. This dude's moving too fast for me to hit. From Cage's description, those two are Shades and Comanche, Bushmaster's lieutenants. They'll be expecting me to smash through the door with them poised to cut me to pieces the instant I make an entrance. Gentlemen, it isn't going to be that easy. After all, why would I use the door when the power of the Iron Fist makes it just as easy to come through the wall itself? Bam! And he smashes the wall. You can see the glowing energy around the Iron Fist. Dr. Bernstein, I approve. Dr. Bernstein, I presume. Heart of the Dragon, what goes on here? Machinery. Now that's Noah Bernstein in the wheelchair there. I think he was depicted much different in the Netflix show. I have to rewatch the Netflix show, but I remember him being like some kind of like sleazy character, not some prominent professor type. Machinery stacked to the ceiling, enough computers to run a small Pentagon, all manner of advanced electronic hardware. It's like Baron Frankenstein's lab updated to the space age. You're Iron Fist. The one and only, Doctor. Were you expecting the Avengers? I'm here with Power Man to rescue you and Dr. Temple. Lucas, oh no, no. Get away, Iron Fist, before it's too late. You see a shadowy figure in the back. It's already too late, little man. Someone's moving behind me, moving so silently I didn't hear him, but that's impossible. Both heroes' days on Earth are numbered, and Iron Fist just gets smoked, knocks Bernstein out of the wheelchair there, and just smokes him up against the wall. Iron Fist, that kid went by here like he was shot out of a cannon. Christmas, it's Bernstein's lab, better equipped than ever. Greetings, Mr. Cage. I've been hoping against hope that our paths would cross again. Bushmaster in the flesh. You broke our agreement, Cage, as I knew you would. And for that transgression, I am going to kill you with my bare hands. You and who else, clown? It's going to take more than a big mouth and a fancy costume to cash in Power Man's chips. That was my Sunday punch. If that don't deck him, I don't know what will. And this is a classic John Byrne panel of a backhand, fisted backhand. He uses that kind of punch sequence a lot in his panels. All right, then. How about raw power? Sweet sister, I felt that. I ain't never been hit this hard before. Seagate, Bernstein, the lab, it all adds up. Bushmaster must have been forcing Noah to turn him into another Power Man. Forgive me, Lucas. I'm an old man, and Bushmaster threatened to torture Claire. I had no choice. I'm so very, very sorry. But you have no chance. Unless... Iron Fist, wake up, please. Iron Fist is all groggy. Quickly, young man, Power Man is fighting for his life. You must help him. So basically, he's recreated the experiment that went wrong on Luke Cage, but he's recreated it under force to basically turn Bushmaster, who had no kind of abilities. He was just kind of a Lex Luthor type, guy. He had no abilities, but he turned him into another Power Man. Stay out of this, kid. Bushmaster's all mine. I understand, Cage. Iron Fist doesn't try to explain as he leaves. Bernstein hammering at his chest, cursing him for a coward. Instead, his mind flashes back across the weeks to Inwood Park, and they are referring to his battle. Pretty sure they're referring to his battle with the Steel Serpent. In his final confrontation with Steel Serpent, he was hopelessly outmatched, yet it was a duel that, win or lose, he had to fight alone to prove to himself, more than anyone else, that he alone was worthy of his name. And as it was for Iron Fist, so it is here and now for Power Man. You're a fool, Cage. I am the ultimate product of Bernstein's experiments. In all respects, my power dwarfs yours. This kind of has this Chris Claremont. This kind of plot line kind of rings the Count Nefaria plot line from the Avengers 165, 166, which was illustrated by John Byrne. But that was Jim Shooter writing. That wasn't Chris Claremont. You can no more stand against me than against a tidal wave. The man may have a point there. For each shot I give him, I get two back with interest. At most, I'm annoying him. He's hurting me. Had enough, boy? He talks like Rackham, so sure of himself, so sure I can't touch him. Working on me day in, day out, trying to break me. Be real easy to give up, too. Spare myself a lot of pain, as easy now as it was then. Only I ain't giving up. You may kill me, Bushmaster, but if I die fighting. They come together like titans, and indeed, there's a mythic quality to their battle as Cage tries to tear the half-ton I-beam out of Bushmaster's grasp. Their superhuman struggle taking them perilously close to Bernstein's chemical vat, till suddenly the beam punches through the chemical containment like some monstrous can opener, dousing both men in boiling hot liquid. It's the gunk Noah was dunking me in the day I got turned into Power Man. It's burning like fire. Sweet mama, I can feel the stuff through my steel-hard skin, like it's burning inside me, twisting me out inside out. And from the looks of things, it's hitting Bushmaster the same way. Great. Now we're fighting in the middle of a lake. Cripes, the chemical. There's Claremont using cripes again. Cripes, the chemicals are washing toward the lab's main power lines. They do, and the results are predictable, and it shocks them both. That's a cool panel. Cool panel from Byrne there of them being electrocuted. And then you see a giant explosion on the side of the Seagate prison. Gods of Kunlun. You have Iron Fist and Misty Knight on the outside. Damn, they don't make comics like this anymore. Gods of Kunlun, that explosion from the lower level where Cage was fighting, Bushmaster and Misty somewhere inside. Get Bernstein into the boat, Dr. Temple. At the first sign of trouble, take off. Awesome panel by John Byrne there. Movement? Is that her? No, it's only Cage, but how? The explosion collapsed the whole section of the prison. I'm still breathing. You're all right, Cage. That's incredible. It's a freaking miracle, kid. And you've won, too. Your friends are safe. Yeah, but without that tape, I'm still no more than an escape con. Bushmaster discovered the truth. It's only a matter of time before someone else does. By then, Cage, maybe it won't matter. Misty, you going to wave your magic wand, make everything cool, mama? Something like that. I believe you've already met the Gadget Man. He's got something to give you, Cage, out of the kindness of his heart and the desire to see justice done. Well, not exactly, that is. I mean, right, little man? And she holds up her Colt 45. It says Python on the side of the firearm. That's awesome. Puts a gun right up to his head. Click. It's ready to blow Gadget Man's head off. She'll do it too. Here, Mr. Cage. This is the tape you're after, the one that'll clear you. With that, they're on their way. With Comanche and Shades, the mercenaries left locked in Seagate's cell for the feds to deal with. Not a bad night's work, folks. Colleen will be furious at having to miss it. I've only one regret, that Bushmaster died by accident. I would have liked to have done the job myself. You think he's dead, Mama? We never found his body. Once I say this, Cage, I'll say this once. I am not your mama, sweet or otherwise, dig? As for Bushmaster, he's probably buried under tons of rubble, man. No one could have survived that explosion. And Cage simply says, I did. Next issue, Freedom. Cage's first night as a free man may turn out to be his last. That is, if Stiletto and Discus have anything to say about it. So that was Power Man 49. Now, that ended the run of Power Man. I had all of these. By the time I was in high school, I had gotten a full run of Power Man from number 1 to number 49. And then I went on to collect what we're about ready to see here. Power Man and Iron Fist, which is actually Power Man number 50, turns into beginning a new era of greatness. Power Man and Iron Fist. Awesome Dave Cockrum cover. I don't even have to look. I can see that's Dave Cockrum. just by the poses of the character. Awesome cover. Fantastic 50th issue. Now the most unlikely team of all is the most unbeatable adventures ever. I can't read. This says 1978. So I believe there was a couple, there was a little bit of time that went by between 49 and 50 while they were getting all this set up. So I don't think it was like an immediate. I remember buying those two Power Man issues I bought off the rack, and then I ended up getting this off the rack as well, but I'm pretty sure it was later. It was a little bit later down the road. I'm not talking about a long time, but it wasn't like right away. So here we had because the Iron Fist solo book was canceled a year prior. It had a 2-year run, and then the Power Man comic book lasted longer. It actually had a 4-year run. It had a run. It started in 73 and ran up to 77. Now, 1978, we've got Power Man and Iron Fist, which they just didn't start back from number 1. They just continued on with issue number 50. The only thing I didn't like is that they took away that epic Power Man pose on the little upper left, the logo of the characters on the cover. I always loved that. That was always my favorite. The Avengers had a cool one too at a certain time in the 70s where they had the Vision coming out of the A, coming out of the A of the Avengers, kind of on the left-hand side where he was phasing out. It's really cool. But yeah, the cover logo was so badass for Power Man. But yeah, this started the Power Man and Iron Fist, and after this, the sales went up. The sales started going up, and I eventually had every single Power Man Iron Fist, as well as I didn't have all the Iron Fist solo comics. I had some of them. I remember I had the first appearance of Sabretooth, which I still wish I had because it's pretty valuable. I had that in great condition. I was missing a good chunk of the original Iron Fist run from 75 to 77. I was missing like the first 6 or 7 issues. I had maybe half of that run, but I ended up collecting all the Power Man from number 1 to 50 because they weren't or number 1 to 49 because you could get them pretty cheap. The only one that cost me maybe like $15-20 at the time in the mid 80s was issue number 1 of Power Man from 1973. I think I paid maybe $15-20 for it from the comic book store, but I eventually pieced together that entire collection. And I would go on to always mark off Power Man Iron Fist in my folder at the comic book store in the 80s. But sadly, the book was canceled. I believe the book was canceled in, I want to say 1987. Might have been 86. The same year they canceled Marvel Team Up, I believe. But I think Power Man Iron Fist ran for 75 more issues after this. So if this was 78, you're looking at roughly about 6.5 more years. So 85, 86 is when Power Man and Iron Fist was canceled. I remember because I showed up to the comic store to get my comics that week, and I saw the checklist that they had in my folder, and it said final. And on the cover of Power Man and Iron Fist, I think it's Power Man and Iron Fist 125, they say at the very top, final issue. And I was like, what? What's going on? But by that time, I wasn't crazy about the creative team they had on there. They had like Mark Bright doing the art. I'm not even sure who was writing the book. I can't remember who was writing the book at the time. They had Greg LaRocque for a little while, which I really liked. He did Web of Spider-Man as well. He was I think he was the initial artist on Web of Spider-Man. But they had him doing a few of the books, and I really liked his art, but I wasn't crazy about the quality of the book had gone down. But the book was pretty cool from 78 to right around like 1983. The book was pretty cool. It was doing pretty well. I know they had Mike Zeck as the artist, the dude that did the Secret Wars. The artist that was the artist on the Secret Wars, the original Marvel Secret Wars, little mini limited series thing, where he drew the black suit, and it just went for over $1 million. Original art page from Secret Wars #8, I believe it is. But yeah, they had Mike Zeck for a while, and I always liked him. He also had a nice run on Captain America in the '80s. But yeah, sadly, the book just kind of, the kind of suffered, and everything was becoming mutants. You were getting that transition where the fans' dollar votes, and is the ultimate decider of what they're going to produce, and the mutant the X-Men were taken over in the '80s, and that was the best-selling stuff. So Marvel had to look at the market, the realities of the market, and go along with what the customers wanted. And Power Man and Iron Fist and Marvel Team Up fell by the wayside eventually. So did other books. But so anyway, I've gone on long enough. Great cover here by Dave Cockrum. Dave Cockrum did some amazing covers in the late 70s for Marvel. At this point in time, he was off of the X-Men. He was replaced by John Byrne right around this time. So I remember him doing quite a few covers. I always liked his covers more than I actually liked his interiors. So here we go. Chris Claremont, John Byrne, and Dan Green once again. Freedom. Let me go into the Zoom. There we go. Claremont, John Byrne, Dan Green. Freedom. Today's the first day of Luke Cage's life. And though it doesn't quite look it right now at the victory party being thrown by his lawyer, Jaron Hogarth, he's celebrating. And you see Luke Cage here with a tuxedo on and the 70s style, How do you feel, Lucas, now that you're a free man? And I love this picture in the background here of Luke Cage like busting out, symbolizing his freedom here. Well, I guess this monkey suit beats a prison uniform, but it don't beat it by much. Yeah, Cage isn't a big fan, I guess, of dressing up in tuxedos. All's well that ends well, Cage? A couple of times these past 6 weeks, I thought our plan was going to backfire and the feds were going to throw you back in stir. So this has been a while that's passed since that last issue. She's saying 6 weeks or so. I was never going back, Misty, no matter what the judge said. And his attorney's like, don't talk that way. Quiet. Be that as it may, Luke, the evidence you, Misty, and Iron Fist found at Bushmaster's base proved your innocence beyond all shadow of a doubt. See last issue, Gate Crashing Goodwin. So Jim Shooter hadn't taken over for the editor. Luke, I'd like to add my congratulations to your exoneration. Thanks, Warden Stewart. In all the time I was inside, you were the only prison boss who treated me like a man instead of a number. Yeah, it wasn't it kind of made up for the trash like Quirt and Rackham. Yeah, the warden was actually not corrupt, but the prison guard and the system was. They were those sadistic prison guards. Lucas, Colleen and I have a proposition for you. We'd like you to join Nightwing Restorations. That's their detective agency. Working for two lady private eyes ain't quite my style, Misty. It's a job, Luke. Colleen, I've been a loner all my life. I'm not sure I want to change. Think it over, Luke. You could do a lot worse. More champagne, anyone? Why not? It's my party. Alone at last. You changed your name, huh? Jaron says your real legal identity is now Lucas Cage. That's right. The man I was died the day I went to prison. Somehow I don't feel right using that name anymore. Luke, how do you feel? Kid, if you live 1,000 years, you'll never know. And if I live forever, I'll never forget. So they're gonna do a little flashback here of Luke Cage's whole experience being framed. You have been found guilty by a jury of your peers. Peers, bull. I hereby sentence you to a full term of 20 years imprisonment. You ain't been listening to me, man. I'm innocent. That heroin was planted. I was framed. Nobody believed me. Nobody cared. And there's Quirt and Rackham, the two guards that would make his life miserable. See details for Hero for Hire #1. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Power Man was actually the first issue was actually titled like Hero for Hire #1. Archie Goodwin. Archie Goodwin, the editor, is actually the creator of the Luke Cage character. And you can see him beating Luke Cage. You're going to be here a long time, boy. And before I'm done, you're going to be eaten out of my hand. Rackham, I'll die first. Now you see some of the flashbacks of the experiment. He and Quirt did their best to break me, but I held out. And then Warren Stewart arrived to shake things up. He brought Noah Bernstein with him. Bernstein needed a guinea pig for his medical experiments. If I survived, he'd figure maybe that'd win me a parole. Rackham aimed to see I didn't survive. You motherless scum. I'm burning in here, Rackham. These lousy chemicals are boiling me alive. I remember pounding on the tank as Bernstein's bathtub cooked me inside and out. And all of a sudden, everything blew up. As you can see, he's just now discovering that he's now got this super strength and steel hard skin because of it's kind of a modified super soldier serum type experiment, the same that created Captain America, but it had more, it had a greater effect. Luke Cage is stronger than Captain America and more indestructible. He discovers his fist can go through the concrete. The wall cracked like my fist was iron or steel. My knuckles weren't even skin, so I poked again and again till I was free. Now, this is John Byrne trying to emulate the initial panels in Hero for Hire, Power Man Hero for Hire #1. This is him doing his kind of doing the imitation of the actual panels. From then on, I was an escape con on the run, though everybody thought I was dead. Luke Cage, Hero for Hire. I made my way north to New York, looking for revenge on Willis Stryker. I got it, and along the way, things sort of worked out. So I became a hero for hire who called himself Luke Cage. Pretty good life till Bushmaster blew it all up in my face and thought it was over, and Misty found the videotapes. Gadget had secretly made a Willis planting the dope in my apartment. See again, last issue. Well, Cage, in light of the exculpatory evidence presented on your behalf, I'll take great pleasure in setting aside the original verdict in your case and declaring you innocent of all charges. Like I said, you'll never know how sick I felt when they put me away, and now gut busting good I feel tonight. I ain't just free, Danny boy. I've been reborn. Luke? Claire, honey. Where you been, lady? I looked for you in court this morning, but you didn't show. I'm sorry, Luke. I should have called. I've been home and at the clinic, thinking mostly about us. Let's find a corner, huh, Luke? I need to talk. Lord knows this isn't going to be easy. I love you, but not your work. The night we first met, I thought you'd been shot to pieces by Stryker's goons, and a night later I found myself kidnapped. Ever since, my life and Noah's have been one nightmare after another. This Bushmaster thing was the last straw. As you can see, somebody is zooming in with a scope on him. There's our man, big brother, large as life and twice as ugly. He's a sitting duck, you know. I wonder if his steel skin will stop a high-energy laser bolt. Put it away, Tim. I want Cage to see the men who killed him. Up front and personal. Let's get moving. So we've got two, looks like we've got two hired guns here. I'm tired of being a perpetual victim, Luke, a target for everyone with a grudge against you. I'm a doctor, not Cleopatra Jones, not even Misty Knight. There's no place for me in your world. Then I'll give it up, Claire. Baby, I love you. Don't, Luke, please. You could no more give up the life you lead than I could give up medicine. It would tear you apart to try. I love you too much to let that happen. Goodbye, Luke. I'll find my own way out. So here he is, a free man. They're celebrating, and she runs out on him. Imagine that. Need a shoulder cage, or are you the strong, silent type? Back off, Misty. Luke, in my own clumsy way, I'd like to help. And then we have an epic panel, John Byrne, of these guys crashing in. And remember, they're in a penthouse. They're on a penthouse floor of a large Rand Corporation townhouse. So they're way up there. So they've got jetpacks. Don't waste your time, lady, because Cage won't live long enough for it to do any good. On your toes, Khan. The day of reckoning is at hand, courtesy of Stiletto and Discus. I believe Cage has fought them before, years ago in a prior Power Man comic book. Down, Misty. Luke, what? Cripes. Yeah, I just can't remember the number. I know that. Yeah, I know they appeared. They appeared in a Luke Cage comic book, like right around 1974 or something like that. Maybe late 74, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but I vaguely remember the issue. Discus, the phone. Jaren, look out! Is temporarily out of service, Stiletto, as he throws a disc and severs the phone in two. Let's start the new year right, Con, by showing the world that crime never pays, even when you've got a high-priced shyster to help you beat the rap. You haven't a chance against us. You know fighting will only prolong the agony. They're blasting the penthouse to rubble. So eager to get Luke, they don't care who gets caught in the crossfire. Jaren's guests are starting to panic. Can't say as I blame them either. This was supposed to be a party, not World War III. Who are these clowns anyway? They talk like law and order fanatics, but I've seen supervillains with more regard for human life. It's a miracle no one's been hurt yet. Trouble is our luck won't last forever. Indeed, where Luke Cage is concerned, it may have already run out. That table won't save you, Con. My flechettes can punch through steel as easy as a hot knife cuts butter. And my jetpack will always keep me out of your reach. Discus and I have worked long and hard for this moment, Cage. The moment when you pay the ultimate price for your crimes. This time there'll be no silver-tongued lawyers, no bleeding heart judges, no technicalities. This time you'll get your punishment your kind deserves. What do you mean, my kind? He doesn't say that. I'm just kidding. Suddenly, Stiletto above us, there's another. The name's Iron Fist, villain, and I am Power Man's friend. And if it's a fight you want, let's see how well you do it when the odds are even. Classic John Byrne action panel here. Gotta love it. You speak of Cage as if he were some kind of animal to be gunned down without a second thought. What gives you the right? You babble on about technicalities. What technicalities? The man committed no crime. He was innocent. Blast, Discus is stronger than I thought. That thunder punch hardly staggered him. He's using the crowd to his advantage, too. Whoever taught him to fight certainly knew his trade. Hang loose, Cage. Help's on the way. Misty, I thought Lucas told you to get down. Iron Fist, what are you doing? Saving your life, woman, and hopefully a lot of others' lives as well. So much for feminism in comic books in the 70s. I love it. Good for you, pal, but I'm a big girl now. I've noticed. Cool the smart mouth hotshot. I'm a trained cop, remember? I can take care of myself. Fine, Misty, but while you're at it, how about getting Geraldine's guest out of here before someone gets killed. Cage and I can handle our gate crashers, but not if you're constantly tripping over New York. We're constantly tripping over New York's social elite. Will you do as I ask? Yeah, Iron Fist, this time. Quit mansplaining to a Misty Knight, Iron Fist. Spent too much time blabbing to the local color, punk. You've left yourself wide open with nowhere to hide. Yeah, this wouldn't go over today. Nice. Only one chance. I think have to put all thoughts of Misty out of my mind. Total concentration. Die, Iron Fist. Now. Impossible. No one can move that fast. Every flechette. He just slapped them away. He's not even scratched. As Luke Cage is putting on his fighting gear here. Shoot. I knew Iron Fist was good, but this, it's all wrong. Nothing's going the way we planned it. I saw Dad in the crowd. He recognized Stiletto and me, and this time he'll turn on us. This time he'll turn us in. We're running out of time. So the sooner we do what we came to do, the better. Heads up, Khan. That maniac, what's he throwing? Looks like an exploding disc. Barely time for Harmony Young to scream as the gleaming silver disc sliced through the air toward the concrete and steel balcony above hers and Cage's head, and then explodes. Oh, I love it. I love this panel. Luke, that balcony, half the walls came down on Power Man like a house of cards. Even if Cage survives, that girl didn't have a prayer. Discus knew that when he threw his bomb. And you dare call Cage an animal. I see madness enough to last a dozen lifetimes since leaving Kunlun, but never anything to equal this. You justify murder behind a mask of righteousness and automatically condemn any who try to stop you. Those aren't words to describe you, Stiletto. There aren't words to describe you, Stiletto. There isn't a hole deep enough to bury you in. And all like you. That's it, Buster. Keep your attention focused on my big brother a moment longer. And then we'll see which of us has the last laugh. I can tell you, fella, it sure isn't going to be you. And that's Colleen Wing kicking him using a martial arts kick there, kicking him in the back of the head. I love that panel. That moment across the wind-blown, battle-scarred living room. Did it. Leverage was all wrong for a minute. There I wasn't sure I could push free, and that blasted concrete beam nearly broke my back when it hit. Ooh-wee, Colleen's making mincemeat of that disco cluck. Disco cluck. For a woman, she's... There he goes again. Woman? Christ, I forgot about the woman. Hey, lady, you all right? I tried to shield you the best I could. Lady, my nails are ruined. Huh? Ruined. $50 a piece nail sculpture for a commercial I'm doing tomorrow, and they're ruined. $500 for fancy nail polish? Lady, I'm truly heartbroken. At least you're still alive to look at them. Gotta go, babe. Luke, come on, they're getting away. That's right, fool, and we're making sure we do it slowly enough that you're certain to follow us. This fight's far from over, Iron Fist, and we're far from beaten. Iron Fist, wait. Crazy kid, he's going up on the roof like a monkey. Can't hear me yelling over the wind. I got a bad feeling about the Joy Boys exit. I better catch up with Iron Fist fast before he runs into trouble. Uh-oh. I think I just made what Lei Kung the Thunderer would call a killing mistake. That sound, sirens, the police. I guess better late than never. Wind's picking up with all this snow. Visibility's all a few feet. I'm in the open facing villains who can fly, stuck on a catwalk that's barely a yard wide. Couldn't have picked a lousier spot if I were one of the bad guys. Someone's moving in the snow, can't tell who. Discus. Explosions ripping up the catwalk. Concussions throwing me off the roof. For a split second, he hangs suspended in time and space, and then got it. Gods of Kunlun, my hand. Hurts, does it, punk? Well, it won't hurt long. There'll be a flash of pain when you hit the ground, then an eternity of peace, which is more than creeps like you deserve. You're insane. Am I? For trying my best to sweep the human garbage off of our streets, trying to make those streets safe for decent people. You crooks don't play by the rules, Buster. Why should I? All that matters in the end is winning. And here we see a panel where Danny Rand's having a little bit of deja vu flashback of Wendell Rand betraying his father, or Harold Meacham is betraying his father, Wendell Rand, in the Himalayan mountains when they had the plane crash, and he's the one that causes. I guess I can just read and it'll explain it. His boot crashes down again and again, Stiletto smashing an iron fist the way Harold Meacham's did at Wendell Rand those long years ago, and now it seems that as the father died, so too will die the son. Unless Iron Fist. Hang on, kid, I'm coming. Cage. Hurry, Luke. Don't think I can hold on much longer. Use the jetpack discus. Cage can't follow us into the air. We'll have him at our mercy. Timmy. No way, clowns. Uh-oh, I hit Disco too hard. We're going off the catwalk and through the roof. I was trying to save Iron Fist and I blew it. That crash, the sudden silence. Something's happened to Luke. I'm on my own. Ice making it impossible to get a good grip. My hand numb. Can't tell if I'm slipping. Got to try to swing left up. He does his best, but it's an old catwalk weakened by the explosions and the shock of Cage hitting the roof. The ornamental ironwork brittle from the cold. And as Iron Fist begins to move, hard of the drag, and the metal shadowed him. Looks like my OBS has disconnected and is reconnecting. I'll give it a second. My late night, my normal late night hiccup. Late night internet hiccup. On the weekend. Didn't do it last night. Okay, here we go. I'm going off the edge. Iron Fist falls, and, they're way up in the air. He's on the roof of the penthouse. 25 stories to the street, maybe 300 feet. It'll be over before I know it. I wonder if Dad felt this way when wait a minute, that dome. I remember asking Jaron what it was. He said it was some sort of pliable plastic covering. I was lurking, but I can see you. Hey, how you doing, Phil? I was lurking, but I can see you. Philemon Grundy, that's your YouTube handle. Solomon Grundy, Philemon Grundy. If I can twist my body, skydive towards it, I should survive the impact. And we got some hoes down here in they're inside of the they're inside the swimming pool here with the in the dome indoor swimming pool. I don't know if this penthouse or their townhouse, whatever building they're in, the Rand Corporation, I don't know if it's a hotel or some sort of social elite hangout, but Iron Fist crashes through the ceiling into the pool. Disco, before I'm done with you, you'll wish you'd gone off the roof instead of that kid. You hear me talking, animal? Oh, this is an awesome panel here. He's about ready to pound Discus. Yep, that's where the Philemon. Oh, really? That's where the Philemon came from? Solomon Grundy. That's DC. I'm just kidding. I like Solomon Grundy. He's a cool character. Put him down, Khan, or by all that's holy, I swear I'll cut you in two. No dice, Stiletto. This is the end of the line for both of you. I'm finishing your brother, and then, Punk, it's your turn. I let you go once because your daddy, Warden Stewart, asked me to, and now Iron Fist paid for my mistake with his life. All right, everybody freeze. This is the police. Rafe, where's Iron Fist? I don't see him. First things first, Misty. Okay? You, Blondie, hands on your head, and no sudden moves. You're under arrest. Rafe, watch out, Stiletto. They had that character depicted in the Netflix Luke Cage as well. I'm trying to think of the actor that played him. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of him right off the bat. He's never been like a main actor, but he's I can't remember. Sergeant Raphael. Yep. So Stiletto shoots him with one of his flechette blades. Nothing doing, cop. Discus and I have a sacred mission to perform, and anyone who tries to stop us gets what he deserves. Raphael, it all happens so fast, there's no time to think, only react. And remember, patrol woman, Misty Knight, in the bank to cash her paycheck, a bag tumbling end over end, someone screaming, it's a bomb. My shoulder. She caught it, threw it away in one smooth, instinctive motion, and the instant the bag left her hand, it exploded. So she's reliving one of her experiences as a cop. She never lost consciousness. She lay there dying, staring at a ruin of her right arm. And she's kind of rehashing how she got her bionic arm. You lousy, stinking cop killing scum. And then Rafe was there too, her partner of 5 years, Raphael Scarf. He wrapped a tourniquet around her arm, kept me alive until the ambulance came, rode with her to the hospital, was by her bed when she woke from surgery to find her right arm gone, and now he's dead. No, please don't. As Misty Knight puts her hand cannon up to Stiletto's head. She owed Rafe more than she could ever repay, and Stiletto shot him down in cold blood. Christmas, Misty's flipped out. She's gonna. I remember this. I always remembered this as a kid. This is to me, was like one of the coolest panels of that time of me reading comic books. I always love this panel. Misty, no, and he blocks the. Lord in heaven, feels like that magnum shell of hers nearly tore my arm off. He blocks and saves him from getting his face splattered. Damn you, Cage. Misty Knight don't play around, man. I'll tell you that much. Damn you, Cage. I'm keeping you from making a big mistake. You don't understand. I do. I just won't let you throw your life away. Stiletto ain't worth it. He killed Rafe. Well, let's say he gave it the old college try. Lieutenant Scarf, Misty, what's going on? I heard a shot. Raphael alive? Iron Fist, your lady friend was just proving she's human as the rest of us. Speaking of human, how come I'm still breathing? Oh, for crying out loud. The dart hit my shield. The 10 must have blunted the dart's force, so it just knocked me down. That's more dumb luck than any man deserves. Ray says Blake's Tower going to throw the book at the Bobbsey twins. If they're good, they might get paroled around the turn of the century. Then it was my turn. Rafe took me aside and chewed me out worse than I've heard in a long time. What hurt was that everything he said was true. I lost my head tonight and nearly committed murder. I owe you for saving me, Luke. Don't sweat it, babe. We're even. By the way, as far as your job offer is concerned, if you ladies will still have me, I'd like to give it a try. So that's the end of this little epic 3-issue tale of how Luke Cage got his name clear and became partners with Iron Fist, Misty Knight, and Colleen Wing. And starting in issue 51, or actually starting in issue 50, it's Power Man and Iron Fist, and they'd go on for the next 75 issues before the series was canceled. And I was sad. I remember I was sad when it was canceled. I was really into this comic book from this point, and then all the way till about 84, I was really into Power Man and Iron Fist. And then the book kind of took a nosedive in the quality. The stories started getting a little, I just kind of lost interest. But there for a while, this was one of my main books. I started buying this after this run, or after this merging of the two. I started trying to buy this every month when I was a kid. It still wasn't my first priority, but I always tried to buy it whenever I could. So this next issue, a new artist takes over and a new plot line begins as Cage takes Danny Rand out for a night on the town, and they'll be lucky they'll come back alive. The new artist was Mike Zeck. He took over. I don't think he lasted very long though, and then eventually he took over. Because Mike Zeck had done Shang-Chi, the dead master kung fu Shang-Chi for a while, and then he ended up getting Captain America. I believe in 1980. I believe at the end of 1981 he took over Captain America. Mike Zeck, the artist, who's not in my top 10 favorite artists, comic book artists, but I like his art. I mean, it's good. It's just I don't know. He's kind of got a little bit more of a different kind of style. He's kind of a mix between like the classic style and kind of a John Byrne-esque type style, but it just never appealed to me the way John Byrne's art does. So there you have it. The end of Power Man and Iron Fist. The next issue says published June of 1978. So, but that's going to wrap it up there. Those 3 issues are, in my opinion, the best Luke Cage issues, Power Man and Iron Fist issues that they have in their run. Sometime I'm going to be going over some of the older Iron Fist that came before this. There's some couple really cool stories with Iron Fist, and I might even cover that Marvel team up. Maybe in the same episode, I might do the Spider-Man. It's the Marvel team up issues by Claremont and John Byrne that happened the year previous before these were published. Was Spider-Man and the Daughters of the Dragon, and then you had Spider-Man and Iron Fist. So, and that's when they battle the Steel Serpent. So you get kind of some of the backstory of what went on in Kunlun between those two rivals at the Kunlun Shaolin Temple type thing. But that's going to do it for Power Man and Iron Fist number 50. And, to me, that's the pinnacle of the whole series. So I really wouldn't have any more issues to cover of Luke Cage, Power Man. Those 3 issues by far are the best, in my opinion. So that I probably won't be revisiting any more Power Man comic books. But like I said, Iron Fist is another story. I think on the next episode, I might even do another one tomorrow night. I'm not sure. I might wait till next weekend, but I'm leaning towards covering either X-Men 120, 121, or some 1980 Roger Stern, John Byrne, Captain America. Some of the issues that they had on that very, very short run, because there's some interesting backstory on why that run didn't last longer than it actually did. So there was some kind of behind the scene politics going on at Marvel a little bit with some of the creators. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for anyone that ends up checking out the episode. I do upload an audio version to Spotify, which is kind of strange because, I am reading from the digital version of the comic book. So audio version might be a little strange, but I still upload it to Spotify. And it's also going to be available on my YouTube channel. So until next time, I will catch you later.